What's going on, YouTube? I'm back in our 1v3 KvK, and there's been a lot of things that have happened. First and foremost, we have entered the next zone. This is zone 6, and zone 6 brings us a lot of good things. First of all, let me show you the map. As you can see, we have a couple fort drops on this pass. We have a fort drop on this pass, and that is about it. But if you missed the other updates, we have won both our zone 5s, and this zone took a little bit of convincing to get done, and they still have some territory, but the territory will get removed over time. Moving on to this zone, what are some of the goodies that we have? Boom. First and foremost, the most important one, a Sun Tzu Bastion. Now this will be one of my main bastions for my infantry march. I'll be running Sun Tzu plus Queen Tamar, and those will be the two bastions I run for my infantry march. Now for my cav march, I think I'll run Bybars plus Takeda. I feel like Takeda's skill looks pretty good, even though it's only the first tier. 10% attack and 10% chance to gain march speed. Feel like that's nice. I'm not too sure. Maybe you guys can help me out in the comments. What would be the best bastion for my cav march? So in around like 30 to 40 minutes, we'll get the Sun Tzu Bastion and we'll get that cooking. But what has happened in my base? Now actually, before we look at anything, I do want to highlight my resources and speed ups, because I feel like that'd be very important in this KvK. Now you guys may know I didn't fight as much as I could have last zone because I was worried about my resources draining, but if you look at our bag, we have about 4 billion food and 3 billion of each wood and stone, and I honestly feel like this is pretty solid for the KvK. Now obviously I will have to use my bag. If you look at my resources on hand, that is not enough. Even for past 7, I feel like I'll be using more than this. I guess we'll see when we get there. Now for speed ups, obviously my speed ups have stayed basically the same the whole time. I have been chaining barbs a little bit here and there. I haven't been chaining as hard as I was the first couple days. It is hard to chain consistently without the mental drain of, you're just sitting there doing barbs all day. But I will be back chaining. I have gotten slowly back into it. Now let's take a look at our boosts, because we still have 19 army expansions, and that will be golden for this KvK. I will not run out. I'm super happy with that. Also, we do have more than gems this weekend. Now, as you can see, I don't have the gems to get 25,000 on both day, but I will get 7,000 on both days, and that will give me some extra gold heads. And speaking of gold heads, let's take a look at our gold heads. 69 gold heads in the pocket. Now, a lot of people have been asking whether I'd be doing an archer march or a cav march next, and the question is, I don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my gold heads up, and once the next cav release comes out, I'll be deciding whether I'm going to go all in on archers or all in on calves. And now I will say I am leaning towards cavalry because I do have Arthur expertise. I have a full set of cav gear and I have decent cav armaments, and I don't have anything of the archers yet. So that's why I'm leaning towards cavalry, but we'll see once the next commander gets released. And as you guys may notice, my daily flux scripts are running out and I am not going to be refreshing them this next month. I had a lot of expenses pop up. Next month, we're going to be completely free to play. So that'll be fun. On other news, my crystal tech has progressed quite a bit. Last time you guys saw this, it was before zone 5, I believe. So this will be an update after zone 5. And I pushed the military tech a bit, and I've also pushed my economic tech. As you can see, the early game of the tech tree is all maxed. Then we get to attack formation. We're getting this all the way up to 7, and then we're going on to something else. Quench blades 9, improved bows 9, mountain combat techniques 9, and improved projectiles 3. Now all of these do have to go to 10 later on. This is the guide I'm following, and it doesn't say to do them yet. Swift marching 3, then we move on to the economic tech, and we have pushed barbarian reports to 5 and Karaku reports to 5, and plunder to 6 and Karaku gifts to 6. If you remember, these were both 4 last time, so our economic tech has gone a little bit better. Then we got call to arms 6, and none of this has changed, and we're probably going into this a little bit closer to zone 7, because we will need to get these healing resources done. But as you see, the prerequisites of these are pretty difficult for me to get. And for a total crystal cost of my tech, let's take a look at my individual achievements. Looking down here, we have a total crystal cost of 32.4 million crystals spent. About halfway to my goal of getting, I think it was 70. I don't need, wherever the conversion stones are, 70 million. We're about halfway to my goal of 70 million. I think we're making pretty good pace, but obviously it could always be better. And hey, but I'm happy with how we've done so far. It's not bad at all. Now let's take a quick look at my marches. If you guys are new here, these are the 2 marches I run. I got Bai Chi with this gear and these armaments, plus Luce expertise, both expertise. And then I also run Joan with this gear and these armaments, plus Arthur. Those are my 2 marches. I do have some extra armaments I'm ready to swap over to my Cav march, but we won't look at those today, but we'll just save them for when I get the conversion stones. Now my troop count. This has actually been very important for me, but we still have over 1 million infantry and around 750,000 cavalry. And if I show you my deads, this will show that I still have pretty good troops. We're taking 160,000 cav deads so far, so we get close to 900,000 cav starting this KvK, and I've taken over 100,000 infantry deads, so we had at least 1.1 million infantry. Now the archer deads have not been increased that much. That will probably happen later in the KvK once we do some archer rallies. Taking a look at the resources spent healing, we're at 2 billion, and I would say around 300 to 400 million is from barb healing, from doing barbs. So I would say we're at around 1.6 to 1.7 billion resources spent healing. Now obviously that is a lot of resources, especially for zone 5, at least for me, and I didn't gain that much KP, but it's still gonna be fine. I'm still think I'm prepared for my rest of the KvK, and I guess we'll see what happens. Now for unit deaths, this is actually our kingdom deaths. Now we did fight 2 kingdoms, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is the highest in the KvK, but 106 million unit deaths. This is the breakdown. Majority of it is T5 infantry, a lot of T4 infantry as well, and as you can see, there's a lot of siege up here, and you might be wondering where is all this siege deads coming from. Otis and some other big players were doing some siege rallies for fun, and it looks like a lot of siege got killed off. But this also might be just siege getting killed off to get killed off. For speed ups in a node, if you guys don't know that technique, you can get some speed ups back for killing your troops off in a node. For support skills, this is where we've unlocked so far. We're about to get Sun Tzu. I haven't gotten Charles Martel yet, but we have his in zone 5. We also got El Cid's in the zone 5, and these are the only 2 I've been missing in my zone 5, but we just unlocked them a couple days ago. And they're in the other coalition, so it's a little bit more tricky for me to get there. And with Pass 5 just opening up, and we're getting these mountain warfare bundles getting purchased, I don't really want to swap alliances right now, because we are getting a lot of gold chests. So I'm going to stay here, and then we'll get these 2 skills later on. But most importantly, we're going to get the Sun Tzu immediately. We're going to try to get to 6 as fast as possible. This skill is actually insane. 10% less damage is huge, and 10% health is also huge. So as I said earlier in the video, this will be our primary skill for our infantry, and then we will run Queen Tamar, which will give me 10% more normal damage, which does buff Smite, and also a 10% chance to reduce the target's attack by 30%. Also, for all you guys that want to spectate my KvK, Fog does get cleared right before the next pass opens. So you'll be able to spectate our pass 7s if you guys want to. It gets cleared literally 2 days before the pass opens. That is some good news. So you guys won't miss any other fights with the Fog being there. Now I quickly want to announce we are also back in our main alliance, 11.2 billion power, and I'll show you guys the leaderboard, because a lot of things have changed this KvK. It's been kind of crazy. This KvK is shaping up to be a good one. If you go to alliance power, we are barely in first by 190 million power. Now I will say 100, if you guys saw our deads, we've lost a lot of power in our kingdom. We're still first, and second place goes to 09, then 15, and then 30. So these are the 4 A seeds in the KvK, and then it goes on to campmates. Looking at alliance kills, this is the kills. Now if you guys remember before the KvK, we were around, I think, 206 billion kills. So we've gone up around 34 billion kills total. I don't remember what 15 was at, I don't remember what 30 was at, but we have personally gone up around 36 billion kill points. Taking a look at the individual power, we got Purple Lotus still in first place with 275 million. I believe she was at 300 million, so she's lost 25 million power. We got F here. I don't believe he's lost that much power. Queenie, Advocate, Naev dropped from 200 down to 156. He's lost around 44 million power. Bebe, this guy's very strong in Water Camp. He had that insane Archer March, and so on and so forth. Next, let's take a look at the individual kills and see how it's changed. Maeve has put up almost 2 billion KP. Blackstone has put up almost 2 billion KP. And yeah, just a general huge increase from everybody in the KvK. Nave hit 5 bill, Otis hit 5 bill. Winnie's almost at 5 bill. And these are some crazy numbers to see. As you can see, I'm at a very disappointing 886 million. I didn't hit my billion goal. I made the video on that my last video with my KvK. I mentioned that I failed. I didn't get my KP goal. But there's still a lot of KvK to go. And I'm about halfway through my DKP. I checked because I was curious, and yeah, I'm about halfway done with that. Last but not least, let's check our VIP. Now, someone did mention in my live stream that I should have put VIP 16 before my pass opened, but if you guys remember my VIP back then, it was a lot lower. We get a lot of gold chests and VIP from chests in this kingdom, and I've just been getting it naturally over time. I believe I'll have it by pass 7 opens. If I don't, I'll be decently surprised, but yeah, I believe I'll have it by pass 7 opens. And if I have extra gems after more than gems, I'll put it into VIP. We'll get pretty close, but I will be purchasing materials from the More Than Gems event. We'll be picking these up, and More Than Gems actually happens pretty soon. Today's Thursday, and it'll be here on Saturdays. So I'm extremely excited to get that event. I feel like it's been ages since the last More Than Gems. But that's about it for this account update in this KvK update. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!